today's video, I'm gonna put all of the knowledge that I've acquired over the years to make a scientific $1 steak. I've always had one goal, to make the best steak in the world, but making sure that it's cheap. Because if it's cheap, everyone can afford good beef. And I will never stop until the day I accomplish. And I believe today is that day. Let me explain. This is a very special ingredient. It is used throughout meat industry everywhere. And you've eaten it many times. And it is one of the things I'll be using for today's experiment. It has several different names, but the most popular one is called meat glue. There's only one problem. If you ever choose to use this, you must make sure not to breathe it or get it in your eyes or anywhere. If you do, you will have problems. So first, I needed to understand meat glue as much as possible. So I went ahead and grabbed 2 steaks. These are flat iron. Let me show you how this actually works. I went ahead and chopped it up in half. Then, to make things more visible, I chose another piece of meat. This is just pork loin. To use meat glue, you gotta make sure to distribute it evenly. And for that, I like to use a sieve. You just add it on the top, make sure to wear a mask, and then you wanna lightly tap on the top. Place the other meat on top, and repeat the process as many times as you want. This is just experiment number 1. Now, since I was using pork loin, it didn't have a lot of fat, so I needed to find out how fat would actually react to it. Then I got a pork belly, and I'm gonna combine it with a steak. So I quickly trimmed the steak, made a nice square, applied a generous amount of meat glue right on top, placed my steak in there, and rolled everything into itself. The key with this ingredient is to ensure that you make everything as tight as possible. If you leave air pockets, it's not going to work. So even though I tightened it up as much as I could, and went ahead and added even more meat glue, if you take a closer look in the middle, I was not strong enough. I needed to suck out all of the air. That was actually simple to resolve. I just threw it in a bag, vacuum sealed it, and now I'm 100% sure there's no air pockets. Next up, just to leave it overnight on the refrigerator. Because the very next day, I immediately removed it, pat it dry nicely, and check it out. Doesn't look like much, but watch it when I slice it. Now you tell me, the fibers perfectly glued to each other, and if they were the same exact color, you will not even notice. This is a huge success. Taking them apart is actually difficult, so you can see a better result. Let's go ahead and take care of the other one. Once I took it out of the bag, I went ahead and immediately sliced it. Here you can clearly see even better. It is the perfect representation of meat glue. Meats will stick together like a magnet. But now that I have all of this knowledge, how can I possibly make a $1 filet mignon? I need to make sure I get the texture right, and most importantly, it needs to be cheap. Really cheap. And the most inexpensive thing I could find is this, ground beef patties. Honestly, I have no idea what kind of grading this is. And most importantly, it was on sale. So I went ahead and started the process. But my issue was, am I just making a big meatloaf? Is this actually going to work? How would the ground beef react to meat glue? I absolutely have no idea. Is this just going to be a complete waste of time? So I knew as I was running this, I could not stop it here, because this only had a 50-50% chance of working. But once I was done with everything, I was hopeful. Next up, to try my second cheapest meat, and that would be an eye round. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've been experimenting with this cut for a very long time. And today it's no different. So the first thing I needed to do was to break all of the fibers to achieve the tenderness, because I know the flavor is there. So in order to cut it super thin, I went ahead and ran it through my meat slicer, cutting it just like you do with ham, super thin. I mean, in the end, take a look. Literally paper thin. Now the process is going to be exactly the same, and you already know how. The key with meat glue is to ensure that I don't overdo it. Just a tiny bit. Every single layer of beef was added strategically. I also did the edges, and I was left with this. To ensure that everything was gonna stick together, it was key to vacuum seal the whole thing. You already know that. And the very next day, I went ahead and started with the ground beef first. And in all honesty, this did not look very promising. It just did not look like a steak at all. So I went ahead and grabbed a plastic mold, started to cut the whole thing, pressed it down as much as I could, and in the end, take a look. This was quite disappointing. There is no way I'll be fooling anyone that this is a filet mignon. But who knows? We're gonna cook it anyway. As the next one, I had really high hopes. So I quickly removed it from the bag, and as you can see, everything attached together perfectly. And instead of using the mold, I went ahead and started carving it as carefully as I could. And this was working extremely well. Everything attached perfectly. I mean, take a look at it. This looks like a steak. To be specific, a $1 filet mignon. To say I was excited was an understatement, but it still needed to pass the most important test, and that would be the tasting. To have a true comparison, I'll be putting it side by side with a real filet mignon. For the seasoning, I kept it quite simple. I went with salt followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder. And now that this is ready, to make sure that the taste tester will be pleased, I wanted to go ahead and make an awesome side dish. That way they'll think that is just a normal video. And this side dish is super simple to make. First up, I got some sushi grade tuna. Cut that up in little cubes, add them to a bowl with some avocado. Then I added some sesame oil, followed by ponzu and some sesame seeds. Mix that up real good, and that's it. It doesn't get any easier than that. But now to make something crispy, so I went ahead and quickly cooked some rice. To make them flavorful, I added some chili oil, mixed everything together, and now to make this crispy. For that, I'm gonna be using this. Spray a little bit of cooking oil first, add a generous amount, close it up, let it fully cook, because once you're done, you have your crispy spicy rice. Now just add a generous amount of that tuna, followed by some green onions, a tiny bit of red pepper flakes, and to finish it off, some soy sauce. Now that is today's side dish, and I think it's gonna pair perfect with our $1 filet mignons. Talking about those, the only thing left to do is to go ahead and cook them, and I'm gonna be doing the same way I always do. I'm also going to be slathering them with a good amount of butter. Once the sear is done, I'll cook them in indirect heat until they reach an internal temperature of 135. And for that, I'll be using my wireless thermometer. Because now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to cook some steak, so let's do it.
This experiment is either going to be really good or really bad, everybody. And before the taste testing, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder that all of my products are exclusively available at every Walmart. We got the Burger Smasher, the one-of-a-kind griddle, the marinating container, and the grill brush to keep your grill nice and clean. All products are exclusively available at every Walmart, also at walmart.com. But enough talking, now the taste test. All right, everybody, and here we got our beautiful steak with a nice side dish. What do you guys think, gentlemen, huh?
Steaks look real good.
You know what this is on the top?
The two things I love the most.
We got some tuna on the top for this guy. So here's the deal. We got a little experiment going on, okay? As you guys can see, we have several different filet mignons. I really want to know your honest opinion. Tell me if it's good, if it's bad, if it's nasty, or if it's delicious.
I hope it doesn't taste nasty, man.
We're gonna find out right now. Begin. Smell good?
No, bro, I don't know if it's just that I'm hungry or this steak smells extra good, but let's dig in.
Let's find out. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. That has a very powerful charcoal flavor.
We don't say charcoal here anymore. What do we call it?
The kiss of the dragon.
Absolutely, the kiss of the dragon, everybody. To be specific,
Dracarys.
yes, Dracarys. We are all Game of Thrones nerds, everybody. We love it.
And the best part of a filet mignon is the tenderness. Even though it's nice and crispy on the outside, that inside is still moist and soft. It's perfect.
That one was good. I'm curious about the second one. Let's give me your honest opinion. Sounds good?
Okay.
All right, dig in. Let's go.
What's going on over here? This don't look like any filet mignon I've ever had, bro.
Let's see how it tastes. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Something's wrong here.
It's nice and tender.
Not like a filet mignon should be, though.
No,
It's like already chewed for you.
like grainy.
Yeah, the flavor is actually pretty good, but the texture is completely off. It's like crumbly. It falls apart, not like ground beef, but like a messed up steak.
Interesting.
Wow, I'm very surprised with what you said and excited at the same time.
I think if Angel were to order a filet mignon at a restaurant and they gave him this, he's gonna have a problem.
I'm not gonna have a problem. That chef is gonna have a problem.
Well, let me redeem myself with a side dish. Does it smell? Oh, well, let's find out right now. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's not gonna be bad.
Oh my God.
It tastes like a poke bowl. The freshness of the tuna, the guacamole, the crunchiness of that rice.
I love the crispy rice on the bottom. You like the crispy rice on the bottom at least?
Well, the crispy rice is good, but the rest, no. I'm gonna be brutally honest.
I want you to be honest.
I don't like that shit.
We say it like it is, everybody. We love it. You don't like it. Totally fine. I want you to always be honest. But let's go in for the last one.
I mean, this one looks better than the other one.
Well, give me your honest opinion on this one. Ready?
Okay.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. No, that's what I'm talking about.
That's better?
Yo,
That's better.
that's good.
Ah! I quit. Let's go. Wow. The steak that made me quit, everybody.
It just tastes like a regular filet mignon. I don't know.
Just like a regular filet mignon, like nothing.
Why are you saying it?
I don't know. There's no difference. What about you? What do you think?
It has a wonderful beefy flavor. It's soft, it's moist. It's a really good filet mignon. The only thing I think is a little bit weird is the crust is perfect, but I had a piece of just the middle. Texture feels a little bit weird, but only in the middle.
Is it pleasant? You guys like it?
No, it's delicious. I like that more than the last filet mignon we had.
So, that is not a filet mignon. That's an eye round.
Shut up.
An eye round. Yeah!
No. I need to shake your hand. This is 300 times more tender than any other eye round I've ever had.
100%, everybody. This works extremely well. Now, I'll be honest with you. It's not worth it, but it is a scientific $1 filet mignon. Yes! To answer the question, does it taste like filet mignon?
Yes.
It feels like a filet mignon, everybody. Maybe you're a little bit different, but most importantly, success. I just hope that the meat industry don't look at this and go scam you off, everybody. Be aware of it, because this one can actually pass for a regular steak. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe. Remember, everything I use is always on the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.